Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be discussing Loki season 1, of course, because I think it was confirmed that they may be doing a season 2 and pre-production may have started on that, so good news. But yeah, Loki season 1 episode 4. However, before we begin, a little bit of Marvel news to cover. So if you don't want to see the Marvel news, I'll put in the timestamps down below to jump straight to the review. So first things first, the Shang-Chi trailer came out last week, and it was actually confirmed a few days ago that Abomination as well as Wong would actually be in the movie. We saw them in the trailer, but people were still saying that maybe it wasn't them. But it was confirmed that both of them are there for the movie, as well as Abomination will be in She-Hulk. As one piece of news, the second piece of news is on Disney Plus, the ending for the last episode of WandaVision has been edited and changed a bit. Um, if you go back and look, you'll notice the difference between the old ending and the new one. However, if you pay close attention, when they're zooming into the cabin, you will notice that coming down into the trees, down the hill, there's also a figure going straight through the trees and it's white. So maybe it's vision, or maybe they just added a mask over what they did and that happened as a result and they may fix it. But for now, let's say it's vision or something to that effect. But yeah, now let's jump straight into Loki episode 4 review. So first things first, Loki starts off and we see Asgard and we see Sylvie, or baby Sylvie that is, playing with her toys, and we see the TVA come in and take her for some reason. And they were never specific as to why, but they take her and they use a recharge and destroy that timeline, and they carry her to the TVA. And we see when she comes into the TVA, of course, that she sees someone trying to escape and she says help him, but no one helps him. Also to note, the one who got Sylvie here is C28, I believe, or the main judge now that we met earlier. Um, so yeah, we then see the whole process of them doing like what they did to our Loki. When you come in, they give you your record, your little suit, your jumpsuit, and whatever, and take you to prison. Um, this actress who plays Baby Sylvie looks really familiar. I feel like she was in a Marvel movie before, or maybe something else. But yeah. So we see them in the court, and Sylvie manages to get away because she stamps on C28's foot and takes her time pad and whooshes out of there with the portal. We then cut to the Time Lords, I guess, or an ominous version of the Time Lords. Um, Something to that effect, because we see the three of them sitting with a symbol behind them. So it's a bit creepy. Then we cut back to present day. So all this was basically a flashback from C28's perspective. And we see her and Mobius talking, and basically they're talking about the events of what happened prior and how they caught, or asking her what happened then. And she's asking, how they got away, why they got away, what's going on. They're trying to figure out what Loki's actual plan is. We then cut to the scene here where we see both Lokis sitting on the planet about to be destroyed. We notice that that this scene is the scene that everyone was talking about when the show had the first trailer and thinking that it would have been Black Widow and Loki speaking. However, we get confirmation now that it isn't Black Widow, but actually Sylvie and Loki. And this leads to a touching moment because we see B15 as well as Mobius again talking, and they are talking about C20, because Mobius had previously asked about it and found out it was deleted, or she was deleted, and to keep it on the down low. So B15 is trying to figure out what happened, and he tells her nothing, he doesn't know anything. And cut back to Loki and Sylvie, and they're having a moment, and we see the moon falling apart and they're about to die. And when they're about to die, we see a branch timeline starts growing. No one has ever seen a timeline like that before. So that's interesting. And they're trying to figure out how this is happening, why this is happening, what's going on here. And this leads them to finding Loki's now, Loki and Sylvie. And we see the two portals open behind them from the TVA, and then I guess cut forward a bit because we don't see how they actually apprehend them. So we just cut forward a little bit and we see that, of course, both Lokis are captured. Um, and then they separate them, and Mobius carries our Loki to a separate holding cell, of course. And in this, Loki makes his joke about why doesn't he have as much guards as Sylvie. Um, and they carry Loki into Mobius's room, and they have a back and forth as they did before. But this leads to Loki telling Mobius before he's thrown into this red portal now that essentially the TV is lying to you. And when Loki is thrown into the portal, we cut forward. Well, not cut forward really, but it seems like a cut in time then that they have on repeat. So it's not really a cut forward. It's like a part of time they cut out and set it on repeat as a little prison for Loki. And this prison is a time prison on repeat with Sif. And it's an incident, I guess, from Loki's past where he cuts Sif's hair. And she comes in and she slaps him, hits him in the nuts, punches him in the face. And the cycle just repeats over and over and over and over. So it was also a really nice seeing Sif because we haven't seen her in a while. I think she's supposed to be in the next Thor movie. But yeah. We then cut to see 28 now speaking. And she has a smile on her face. But she's happy things have been resolved. We then see B15 guarding Sylvie with some other guards. And again, more of the interaction with Loki and Sif here. Because we had that spread out a bit. But this time, Loki accepts the wrong that he's done and he apologizes to Sif and kind of breaks the cycle. However, when he breaks the cycle, Mobius comes in and gets him and they sit down to speak now. And while speaking, they have their usual back and forth. Mobius is trying to figure out what's going on. We then have a moment between B15. It seems like she's watching the poster and memories are coming to her. So she goes in to see Sylvie by herself, and we cut away from that for now. Then we cut back to Mobius and C28 having a discussion, filling out the paperwork for finishing catching both Lokis. And while doing so, we see that he slips and does a little sleight of hand and takes her time pad and replaces it with another. So he's kind of falling on Loki's side now. We then cut to B15 and Sylvie again, and we see where they went. B15 carried her to Rockscat, of course, on Apocalypse to get away from having the whole branch timeline and people spying on them. And they have their discussion, and Sylvie tells her that, you're a variant, and she explains to her that, it wasn't a trick. She could only use or show memories that are already there. She can't create it. So we then get Mobius finding out the truth because he uses the time pad to see what happened with C20. And we see that she had a little interview or discussion with them after talking about what happened, and she was erased for that, for remembering her stuff, I guess. But Mobius notices at the end of the video, the person who's there with her is C28. And this leads to him now fully believing Loki. So he goes to help Loki and he takes him out of the cage or the time loop prison. But before he does that, he also compliments Loki and tells him, you could be whatever you want to be, in case nobody ever told you that. Now we see Loki with a smile on his face, so that's good. Now we cut to them coming out of the portal, and when they come out of the time prison portal, we see C28 and guards there, and this leads to him saying that he had a mix up with the time pads and he must have taken up the wrong one. But C28 doesn't believe him. This leads to a kind of sad moment for Loki and some character development, I guess, because we see Mobius finally understands what's going on and he tells them, if I could go anywhere in the world on any timeline, basically it would be to before you took me away from my family and all of that. And basically he gets erased for that, which is a low blow and sucks, and we see Loki sad and upset now, so I'm assuming he's going to get revenge for that. We then cut forward now a little bit and we see that both Loki and Sylvie have been escorted to the elevator to meet someone. We don't know who yet, but they're escorted to the elevator and we see C28 with them. and they enter the elevator alone, all three of them, no guards, and they come out on the spooky floor with the Time Lords now, and we see there are the three Time Lords, and we see Loki, Sylvie entering C28, and there's two guards or a few other guards around inside that room itself, but it looks like a weird room. So yeah, we then get close-ups of all the Time Lords and how they look. So I'll draw a picture up of all three of them here. But this leads to basically Loki and Sylvie kind of talking back to them and trying to figure out what's going on. And C28 isn't really having it that much. However, B15 comes to the rescue and she disables their time colors that basically stops their powers and all of that. And she throws Sylvie's sword to her and she says the motto of the TVA, and she helps them fight, but she's knocked out early on. Then we get a cool little fight scene with Sylvie and Loki is getting beat up, but Sylvie gives him a sword, and that's so touching. But yeah, they overpower them basically, and when Loki beats up the guard, Sylvie beats up C28, and this leads to essentially them going up to the Time Lords, and the Time Lords ask them something, but Sylvie isn't having it, and she throws her sword at one of them and decapitates them. And they all start to laugh, and she's about to do the same thing again, but Loki stops and they take up the head and realize that it's androids, so they don't know what's going on. So that is a big mystery there now to see, is the TVA actually run by the Time Lords or is it someone else? We'll have to wait and see. But this leads to the one of the final closing moments of the show, and this is where Loki begins to confess or try to confess his feelings for Sylvie, because essentially this whole episode dealt with him kind of figuring out what's going on with him and her, and I assume he's fallen in love with himself. That's what they made it seem like throughout the whole episode. And when he's about to confess, he is killed essentially. He's wiped, he's visioned, because this is like the same thing that happened to Vision when he vanished at the end of WandaVision. So yeah, we also get after that, well, that's the end of the episode, so we get the credits. However, there is an end credit scene in this episode, and this end credit scene, if you didn't see it, spoiler warning, but this leads to Loki waking up in somewhere, and he's like, is he dead yet? Is he in hell? And the big reveal for this episode now is, surprisingly, he says, or someone says, no, not yet, but come with us if you want to live. Then we cut and we see 4 Lokis looking at him. And this is interesting because we see old man Loki, young Loki, alligator or crocodile Loki, and I'm not sure if the bald guy is another version of Loki or if he's Thor, because he has what looks like a makeshift hammer. So the episode ends on that cliffhanger right there, and that's a pretty good cliffhanger if I do say so myself. I've been actually enjoying Loki a bit more than the other series, and that is mostly because the story has been unpredictable, kinda, because we don't know where it's going, how they're going to kinda take the story forward. So the twists and the turns are really good. So I enjoyed it. I didn't spot much Easter eggs in this video. I'll drop a picture here with some of the Lokis from the comics. We've seen some of them before in the previous episodes when they now introduced Loki to his TVA team and they were going hunting for Sylvie. And then the 3 new ones are right here as well in this picture, so I'll throw it up somewhere here. But yeah, not much that I could notice. I mean, we got the Rocks cart scene again, big and prominent, when they went back to the apocalypse. So Roxxon hint again, but other than that, we still need to know who the big bad is. I'm wondering if this is going to maybe have a Doctor Strange reference now, So yeah, because it's dealing with time and all of that. So hopefully we see that. Um, there were rumors floating around. As I said, there already are rumors, or I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed that Loki season 2 is in pre-production, but I saw rumors stating that season 2 may focus on them going or trying to go after Gamora from the other timeline who got away in Endgame. So interesting, interesting. Um, so yeah, let me know what you guys think below. This was a really good episode. The CGI was pretty good as well this episode. So yeah, and I think Tom said that this and episode 5 are both his favorite episodes from the entire season. And of course we'll get episode 5 next week. So let's see how good it actually is. I believe we'll get President Loki in the next episode. So I'm waiting for that. Um but yeah, I'm going to assume this is a prediction. I'm going to assume all the Lokis are going to team up and charge into the TVA, rescue Sylvie, and then overthrow the TVA maybe, or find the root cause of all these bad agents. Um, so yeah, that's just my prediction for the rest of the season. Um, so yeah, let me know what you all think below. Of course, like I said, I had a little bit of Marvel news at the front in case you didn't know already. Um, so yeah, and I believe we should be getting a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. It makes them up. Home, so many homes in the title. But yeah, we should be getting a Spider-Man trailer, I believe in July, and we're going into July tomorrow, depending on when this video posted. So hopefully soon, because we already got 2 Shang-Chi trailers, 1 Eternals. Um, so Spider-Man would be the next big thing, I guess. Oh, and don't forget, Black Widow is supposed to be out this week, coming next week. Next week, I believe, next week. So keep an eye out for a review on that. And yeah, also Black Widow has 2 end credit scenes. Don't ask me how I know that. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.